called Fullman. I look after AltiGen for EMEA from a sales perspective. We've been developing IP PBXs since '94. We're one of the first companies to actually develop a pure soft switch. Right, so that's pretty much our background. Whizzing through to where we get to today is that we've been collaborating with Microsoft right from the beginning. We always built our platforms on OEM to Microsoft bases, and we started getting involved with Microsoft around OCS, providing specialists PBX features, right, that just were not available. So the couple of areas in particular that we have specialized in, one is in contact center solutions. For the last 10 years, we've been providing contact center solutions for large organizations. Some banks, for example, there's a company called Fiserv in the US who white label all of our services, and they're a banking institution that covers the whole of the US. So contact center, auto attendant, IVR, those type of solutions is something that we've been very good at delivering. And then the mobile convergence piece. From 2008, we've been delivering mobile convergence through smart devices such as BlackBerries, iPhones, to turn them into native extensions off of our own PBXs. So our view is very much based on the fact that our customers should be able to communicate from any location using any device, right? So we never went down the proprietary hardware route. We kept sticking with software. We had a couple of key wins with Microsoft back in 2009, brought us in as key TAP partners with them and started to develop. So today, if you want to have Max ACD, which is our call center solution, either as informal or formal, or Max Mobile, which is our mobile solution, you have to have Lync. Okay, because the idea is every vendor that we were competing with out there was providing software plugins that plugged into Outlook. Our view was just use Outlook, right? We knew what Microsoft were going to be doing. We just wanted to add the pieces that may be missing when you're trying to compare Lync to a traditional voice solution. Some of that front-end stuff, some of that front-end auto-attendant, complexity, some of the reporting that you need, some of the things that you need from a call center solution, such as monitoring and call recording. All of those things are things that we see as real value to customers. So our view is using smart devices. Our view is using software as a service, as a model. So I'm going to quickly run through our applications. So the key thing about our mobile Lync application, Max Mobile, we're support for example, obviously Android, iOS, both iPhone and iPad, BlackBerry, and Windows Phone 7. The key for us is the fact that we've been delivering these solutions since 2008 using natively GSM services. So the vast majority of applications out there that you load onto your device initiates a GSM call by getting the system to phone you. That doesn't work because you suddenly pay an extra call charge. We've never worked like that. We recognize and we work with some of the larger mobile carriers to provide solutions that fit natively into your mobile plan. So the way our system works, it says ring the server, right? So the initiation becomes part of your overall plan. So parts of Europe, they don't want SIP. They want to keep the GSM piece because they've got bundled in minutes that says, actually, I don't need to actually change that. I've got an environment where I can guarantee the Wi-Fi service. We don't care, right? We deal with the call path and routing of the call path within our software and our software servers to allow us to give you a solution that fits naturally within your own environment. We do support SIP. We support SIP over Wi-Fi services. We also provide a quality of service within the application. So if you've got a Wi-Fi service, such as Aruba, right, that has some quads built into it, we work within that environment as well. BlackBerry doesn't support open standard SIP, so we use the GSM solution as part of that. But again, we can route the call based on our customer's requirement. Our flexibility in developing our applications right across the board is a key differentiator for us. It's not always what you just see on the box, it's what do you want to do? What's your business requirement? We can provide a solution to fit that. So I'll quickly go through each of the slides. And again, these can be white labeled, right? Again, we've built the applications to be that simple. We have a standard user settings, which is going to give my login settings, plus things like call forwarding rules. I've got my presence. You'll see it saying I'm busy here at the moment, so that's my typical Lync presence. I got my IM indicator. If I've got any instant messages that are coming to me, it'll show me a number of messages I've got in my speech bubble. I just click on that and it takes me to that piece. And we have it set at the moment on auto detect, which says rule is first preferred is Wi-Fi. If I have a Wi-Fi service and I can make a SIP call, then do that. Next is 3G data. If I can make a SIP call over 3G data link, do that. Third is going to be fallback to GSM. And what happens is it calls a pilot number into your Lync server and then breaks out on the PSTN. So you don't pay for the first call, but it still is a native extension, which also means that if I'm part of a contact center as an agent, for example, could be an engineer that's part of a work group, I can have my calls monitored. I can have them recorded, right? I can make myself busy so I'm not actually getting calls just from my present side of things. My directory has got my directory that's internal to the phone, plus my corporate directory, which searches by Active Directories, which is also controlled by Active Directory. Because we have a client-server model, if my account's locked out, so I'm no longer able to access anything in my corporate network, you won't see anything in here. It's controlled centrally by the administrators. If I've grabbed a contact within my directory service, then it's going to show me the typical Lync snapshot business view, who they are, what the department is, any numbers relevant to them. I can either send them an instant message, right? I can add them to my favorites list, which I'll show you in a second. Click to dial, and again, it's going to use the same scenario. If I have a situation where, say, for example, I don't want to have SIP, I just want to have GSM, we can also configure the system to lock down how you communicate, right? So my favorites is an additional sort of group of contacts. So typically what you have, if I looked at my contacts in Lync, I've got quite a few people in there in different groups. If I have about 5 to 10 people that I'm regularly working with, right, in my team, I can add them into my favorites, and it automatically gives me their presence. Automatically tells me if they're available. So again, small team of engineers, for example, I can see who's available. I can instantly see that. I can instantly message them, right? If I'm dealing with stuff, if I'm out on the road and I'm dealing with information and a call comes to me because I'm part of a contact center and I know that the person I'm trying to get hold of is in a meeting. So I know what's happening within my environment to be able to respond in the correct way to the people calling me. Our visual voicemail, so this is linked directly to Exchange. So this will show you all your voice messages that are held in Exchange. What will happen is exactly the same as it is with Active Directories. I'll see what voice messages that I have. Until I click on the actual link, it won't stream it to me. So I don't get anything stored in the phone. So again, if I had a situation where I lost my phone and I locked out my account, you wouldn't see anything in here. It has to be triggered by looking in Active Directories and Exchange Server. So my typical IM on the left-hand side is going to have my IM history, okay, which will show. Now I actually use an iPad because we also use the same device. And sometimes I use my iPad to call because it has Bluetooth, and we make this docking station that we provide that allows me to use it as a voice piece. But it's synchronized. I will make sure that I've got history, whichever device I'm using, centrally located. So for auditing, for example, sometimes there's a requirement for that. And here's a typical IM experience on the right-hand side. Call log. This is my Lync call log. Now, I found that very useful when I'm in London, so I'm jumping on the tube. If someone rings my mobile and they don't get through to me and don't leave a voice message, I have no idea who's called me, right? Generally what happens is people ring my main Lync number. As soon as I come out into the open area and get a connection, I'm going to find out who's trying to call me, right? And that's my full Lync call log. Because the application is a native Lync extension. It's one of your 3 SIM rings. If you look at a call that's in progress, and this particular call is going over a carrier service, Wi-Fi service for Neil Livonius. So as soon as I've got that call, it's like using it, an IP extension within my office. I can put them on hold, I can transfer, I can conference in anybody else. I can send calls that come into me into my voicemail service. So from an application perspective, we've been pushing our client, right, since 2008. Now we have a Max Mobile client for Lync expressly. Our customers were asking us to say, hey, this is really good because I now have this device, right, that is my extension, wherever I am, particularly if I'm working at home. But what I do miss is the ergonomic feel of a real good desk phone. I don't want this thing stuck to my head 24/7. If anybody's like me, I'm at home, I'll hear a ringing somewhere, I have to track my phone down, wherever it is. So we developed a docking station, Bluetooth docking station, initially for iPhone, to allow me to dock this. It charges it. It allows you to synchronize through it. It gives me a Bluetooth connection. It has high-quality hands-free capabilities with echo cancellation, all the things you expect to see in a high-class IP phone. So the idea is that when you're using your smart device, is that having this facility really turns it into a really good business desk phone. So that's our view. is we think everybody's going to start having more of a software as a service. We're using these things more often. And I guarantee that if we had a quick opinion poll, there'd be an awful lot of people with their hands up that have a smart device as well as an IP phone. So that's our mobility. So the contact center, an ACD piece, is something that we've specialized in for about 10 years. I'll go straight through to the, to the relevant key points because I'm conscious of time. So from a client perspective, we have our supervisor clients that give our call center supervisors complete control over the work groups that they supervise, right? And that's everything from the work group call control, so the ability to manage agents, the ability to reroute calls, the ability to monitor calls, right? The ability to see real-time performance displays is extremely important, right? All of those business features and services that you'd expect to get in an advanced call center, we provide as part and parcel of the solution. So apart from the real-time performance display, and I'll show you a quick snapshot of the supervisor view in a second, you also have detailed summary reports. There's about 45 standard reports that you can create, but you can also create specific reports that are non-standard. So whatever you need to report on, we can provide that as a solution. What starts to happen an awful lot with our customers once they start introducing our ACD, right, and start routing calls through to the max ACD server for queuing, right, from manipulating the call to finding out information from IVR, then after a while they start putting all the calls through to the ACD because we can transfer calls not only to work groups, but also we can transfer calls to other Lync users. Okay, we sit there as an ACD with that queuing capability. Because it also means you can extend things like call recording on a per trunk basis, right? There's lots of things that we can add. So the base side or server side call recording can be configured in two ways. You can record all conversations or you can record conversations ad hoc, right? So if it's just training, then a supervisor can go and right-click and record, or an agent can. So this is what the client looks like, right? So if I'm logging into Lync, that's my Lync application. If I'm logging in as an agent, then I just get two windows that are connected, extended. It's all part of, integrated natively, part of Lync itself. The bottom window will show me information, the work group, calls that are coming into me. Top window will be calls I'm dealing with. So wherever I am, if I'm working from home, I have more visibility of what's happening in my call center than I would do if I was sat in a cubicle next to actual agents in a building, right? Particularly when we look about the fact that the Lync is our PBX as part of this. Supervisor has both a work group view, but also has an agent view. And it gives me ability to drill down on individual agents. It allows me to redirect calls. It allows me to look at the real-time information, right? So key stats, for example, I can set up a little graph, something as a metric that's extremely important for me to be able to flash, hey, there's a problem with this, to deal with it, not only historically, but I can export a report right then and deal with it right now. So huge amount of control within that. Wallboards, provide wallboards, right? Again, with, about 50 different outputs, and there's different ways of configuring this. So that was the fastest presentation I've given on such a very large subject, but as you can see, our view is that there are key elements within Lync from a business perspective that that we provide, and we have been providing since '94, that really make a difference.